Hi everyone, welcome back. As you can see, we are now in the spray bay with the Takom Pz.I. So we've got the decals on it. Okay, it's all decaled up and it's camo pattern on. So next up is to add a dust layer. So what I've done, similar to the Sherman build, is give it a coat of hairspray or a couple of good coats of hairspray, let that dry off, settle in. So we can now do, like I say, a dust chipping method. So again, just quick on the camera, we've got the Attacker thinners, which is a nice mild lacquer thinners, and what I've done is use some Tamiya paints and just mixed a very light sort of dust colour up. As you can see, obviously being grey and brown, you want a lighter colour for the contrast. So this is mainly a base of Tamiya XF78 with a few drops of the combination that I did use for the dusting on the Sherman build. So if you want to go back and look at that video, I shall put a link in for that for you to go and see. So that's highly thinned down. I've already got it in the airbrush. I'll get used to this new camera angle. So alright, so we've got it in there. So I'm just going to stick the extractor on and stuff, so I do apologise if there's noise, but as you can, you know, so it's just light coats where the dust would build up. Okay, you got to think this is going to be sort of summer 1940, so dry, dusty. Just think logically where the dust would build up. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Dust layers down all over the running gear. Like I say, this is just a base for other effects, so turn that off. So don't worry if you go too heavy, because obviously with the chipping fluid underneath, you can just reactivate it and wipe it away. So hopefully what we're going to get some nice streaks, some nice build up in corners, especially on this front plate as well, just with the dust being kicked up. And obviously especially around the back as well, on the mud guards and where the tracks and obviously on the back. So okay, so we'll move over back to the other workbench, get set up, and we'll start the chipping. So back at the other workbench, and the next part is what we're going to do is got a little cup of water, lukewarm mine is, but I don't suppose it really matters, and I'm going to use a flat brush, but this is just a cheap nylon brush, to be honest, which is melting like anything, but this should do. So again, same, I keep referring back to the Sherman build. We're just going to reactivate this. So I've got it on a piece of kitchen towel, just wet the brush, unload, and then just gently sort of dampen the area that you want to chip. Okay, just let that water do its work just to soak through the layer to get to the chipping fluid underneath. Once that's activated, then you can go for your life, really. I just like to use dabbing motions for this. To get it going. I'll try and get maximum sort of control of what you're chipping. So that's why a damp brush rather than a soaking wet brush is more adequate. There we go, it's starting to go. Once it starts to go, once it sort of gets under that paint layer, you'll just see it just really start to reactivate and chip, and so you can manipulate it. If you don't like it, you can just sort of really just take 99% of it back off. So, but again, using the Attacker lacquer thinners, you get in-scale chips, or wear, if you want to call it that, because obviously this is a dust effect, but if you're doing a chipping effect as well, and it's not too aggressive that it just welds itself straight to the paint layer underneath, which I've had before. My brush is deciding to melt everywhere. Again, just take your time, no rush, and there you go. So like I say, you get some nice in scale sort of wear. Obviously where the crew's been, that's where you got to think where it's naturally going to wear is where the crew's climbing over the tank, or if it's gone through a hedge or something, just use your sort of knowledge of environments and things to determine where the natural wear would be. Obviously the engine deck is going to get maintenance, so that's going to be, there's going to be obviously wear on there, clean points, dusty points. You kind of get the gist of what I'm getting at. So what I'll do now is carry on chipping this, and then we'll come back and then we'll go into the next stage of the weathering. So we've just finished with the chipping, alright, or should I say with the getting rid of the dust layer with a chipping hairspray technique. Okay, so we have got some nice build up of dust forming around the tank. There are some rough transitions at the minute, but they'll blend in when we get the oils and the enamels out, and any other weathering products that I'm going to use on this. So again, obviously we're going to have to do something in there where it would collect around the running gear and the bottom of the hull of the tank. But yeah, overall, just got a nice base layer there. So I'm going to come back. Like I say, we're going to go on to the next step, which I think I'm going to crack open some of the oils, so we can start getting it a bit of a wash in panels and doing a bit more fading and blending the dust layers in. So, okay, see you back in a moment. So next step, now we've done the pre-dusting, is to give it a oil wash, which is my favourite form of doing pin washes and general washing. So what we have here on the palette is a selection of Abteilung 502. So we've got light mud, buff, shadow, brown shadow, sepia and industrial earth. So we've got a nice selection here for just another layer of building up the mud and dust, or should I say dust on this case rather than the mud. And obviously then for the pin wash I'm going to be using the sepia colour, which is this one here. Alright, we've got our normal standard odourless thinner, for cleaning up and obviously for thinning it down. So usual thing with a pin wash, obviously we're going to pick out the deeper panels, access to the engine, obviously around the hatches, around this transmission hatch here as well. And then, like I said, I've just done a little bit on the wheels just to test, and then it just makes the details pop. It's just one of them techniques that's that really just start to bring the model to life. So without further ado, I'll have a quick again, if you need to use a different palette just to keep this activated, that's fine. Right. So what we'll do is just a smidge closer. Alright, touch and flow, usual thing, like the capillary action do the work. And any overspill we'll just clean up after. So do all these rivet heads and screw heads, should I say. So the neater you are with this technique, the less cleanup you've got, but being oil paints, they're really nice and easy to clean up anyway. So just right, like, yeah, got it in my head. I've also given this a flat coat just before, just to seal in sort of the pre-dusting. Not that it probably needed it, but I just wanted to take the shine off it because the oil paints do like a flat sort of surface just to grip to. So okay. So any raised detail you want to make pop, any recesses you want to make look deeper, this is the technique to use. I'm going to just jump around a bit just for the sake of filming, but you know, normally it's good to do one bit at a time, clean up. It's a bit heavy there, but again, once the thinners is evaporated and dry, we can just go back and clean it up with a clean brush. So So there we go. What I'll do is finish this off, and then we'll come back and we'll do the clean up. Wash is now dry, so it's time for a clean up. So what we've got is clean brush, odourless thinner, bit of paper towel, just unload all the excess thinners. You just want sort of a moist brush for this, and then what we're going to do is just sort of feather it in and just blend in the horse edges that we've got. Okay, keep cleaning the brush off, and that's what so all these screw heads all around there we're just going to clean up. This is a joy of oil paints, it just blends so easy. So just remember just to keep up, you know, like I say, just cleaning your brush off, so you just any oil paints that's picked up in it, you're just not moving around where you don't want them to. Again, you can do this with a sponge or like a earbud, come Q-tip, depending where you are in the world. I just like to do it with a like I say, a damp brush. So as before, I'll finish cleaning all the wash up, then we can again move on to the next step of the weathering process. So same oil palette as before, what we're going to do is just enhance what we've already started with the dusting. So we're going to use the light mud. Okay. So just want to reactivate this. It's been on the palette for a few days on this cardboard, so let's get it going again. So you've got a few days working time with oils before they fully sort of set on if you're doing it through the cardboard. Right, a bit of odorless thinner. You don't want your brush soaking wet. You don't want this as a wash or anything. You want full control of where you're going to put it. Take a bit on the brush. Okay, so pick a spot. What I'm doing is just unstick the turret for now. So we're going to put it in where dust would naturally collect, into nooks and crannies. So just enhance what we've already done on this turret with the hairspray dusting. So we'll leave it at that for now. We'll just take that turret off. Just give it a little bit around this corner. Alright, so what we're going to do is just let that dry. That's the main thing now. It shouldn't take long. Being that obviously we've drained all the oil and carrier out of the oil paint. Alright, so clean that brush off. So what we've got then is quite a gnarly looking soft brush. Okay, completely dry. That's the key. And then what we're going to do is do what oil paints are brilliant at, is blending. And just feathering this in. So what I'm doing is just stabbing motions. Okay. And what this brush will do is just pick up any excess and just blend it in. Okay. So what you get is like a nice dusty mottled effect. And you can go as far, if you don't like this, just put a bit of thinners on a brush and just dab it all back off. You can go for your life with that. So see where it's just on here on this front plate. Again, it's good for just separating. There we go. So you get the basic idea of what I'm achieving here. So get the rest of it done and finished with this oil dusting. And then we'll put the final touches on for just finishing off the running gear. We'll do the tracks and we'll call this one done. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is add a bit of industrial earth. Just put that over what we've just done. Right. Then taking a semi damp brush, okay, so I'm just gonna build that up. I'll do these bits as well. Underneath. just using a dabbing motion just to blend it. There we go. The top portion is now complete with the oils and the pre-dusting, so it's time to move on to the bottom portion, the running gear and the track. So for this particular effect, I'm going to use the landing gear dust from AK, which again is a nice sort of dusty colour, as it says on the bottle. So just give it a pre-stir. Make sure, sorry, that once you've opened these, you give them a good stir. Agitate it so it's all thoroughly mixed. And basically, what we're going to do is just drop some over on the bottom part. Right, we've already got the pre-dusting from when we did the chipping anyway, so this should complement that. Okay. And then just using the speckling technique, we will just randomly flick some of this over the bottom portion, just like dust has just been kicked up. There we go, like so. So what we'll do is wait till that dries. You can build this up as much as you want, how many layers, same as all the previous effects that we've covered. And again, if you want to add a darker tone, you know, you've just got to keep it all obviously into some sort of cohesion with what you've done on the top. So I'm not going to go too in depth with this because I've already covered it in the Sherman video. So same sort of technique, build it up gradually, get your dusty mud, whatever else you know you want to put on there, let it dry, blend it in with some clean enamel thinners, which I'll do as soon as this is has gone off. And then the next part to this is, like I say, I'm trying to keep this a short video, it was basically just as a demo to show the Gen 3s, but while we're at it, we might as well do a bit of weathering on Panzer Grey as well. Obviously I've got the wire cutter handles to paint, which is sort of a caddy red colour. Put these covers on the exhaust. These should have some shrouds, some photo X shrouds, which I'll put on and weather separately. Add the hatch, and that's going to be wrapping this video up. So we'll come back, show the final reveal video shots when this is all finished, and just want to say thank you for watching, sticking with this. Like and subscribe, usual YouTube things to say if you enjoy these videos, and I'll see you in the next one.